If you want to move to New York City, you will need roommates. So before you find an apartment, let's find a roommate. It's very crucial for our survival guide. Roll that intro. Hey, my intro guy ran away. Joke's on him, I figured out how to do the intro. Come on, like just 2 seconds, come on please. Hello class, welcome to Anish University. Before we begin, 83% of your grade is hitting that subscribe button, so don't forget to do that. In today's syllabus, we have... So let's begin. I've discussed this in my previous video, but let's see why you exactly need roommates. But I don't want a roommate, I'm an adult now. Shut the fuck up, you little bitch. First, the obvious one, you will need help paying rent when you first move to the city. You probably won't be having a very high paying job, but even if you do, you should try to save as much money as you can because rent is already so high.
So high.
Getting a roommate will help you significantly. According to a 2018 study, adding a roommate will nearly save you $13,000 per year on the average. So I think it's a no-brainer that you should get a roommate.
It's a no-brainer.
At least get one or maybe 5. And second reason being, when you move to the city, you probably don't know anyone. Now that you have a roommate, you have someone to cry to rent to. Just kidding. Having a roommate automatically helps you get that friend number 1 in the city, even if you don't know anyone. Even if you're not friends with your roommate, living with someone gives you that day-to-day human interaction, which can make you feel less lonely when you first move here. Since your roommate will be quite different from you, you're most likely to meet a lot of different interesting people through them. So your first friends might also end up being from their friend circle. So it's always nice to have a roommate, but getting a roommate is a very difficult task. It's like catching those legendary Pokemons.
Who's that Pokemon? It's
Anish! So how do you catch one? Finding a roommate can be one of the most stressful things that you do when moving to New York City. It's not difficult because there's a shortage of roommates. No, that's not the problem. There is a lot more people moving to the city than apartments available. And with more and more people trying to move to the city, you have a surplus of roommates. It's easier to find the love of your life, but roommates, not so much.
no.
It's difficult to find a good roommate because a lot of people can't even meet the minimum criteria of getting an apartment, which is paying the monthly rent. But in short, you need 40 times the rent to meet the requirement to qualify for an apartment. And if someone doesn't make half of that, since you guys will be sharing the apartment, then they are not a good fit for a roommate. Yeah, in New York, we care about money more than the personality.
Big personality over here.
Usually, you have a really short time to find a roommate since the apartments are going off market so quickly. 1 second gone, 2 second gone, 3 second gone. And since you don't know a lot of people in the city, it's difficult to meet different kind of people and find a good roommate. So let's solve these problems and find your roommate. You know the person who has loud sex on the other side of the thin wall in the middle of the night, but you have to be nice to them since you're in a symbiotic relationship and can't pay rent on your own? Yeah, that person. Leases will usually have a clause that the whole apartment is responsible for paying the rent. So if you don't find a roommate who can pay the rent every month, then you might be in trouble.
Uh-oh, here comes trouble.
But some leases might also have the clause that each party is responsible to pay the rent, which was the case for me when I first moved to the city. One time, one of my friends left the lease and her friend was supposed to sublease the rest of the apartment and keep paying the rent. But eventually she found out that she was not paying rent at all and was evicted. But since the lease was on both of their names, my friend also ended up having an eviction notice on her credit report.
You don't have to raise your voice.
So it's very important to find a roommate who is responsible and who you can trust. So go the extra step and vet that person financially when you're trying to apply for an apartment together. While you're at it, discuss your budget. Discuss the rent that both of you will be comfortable paying. It's more than likely that when you two move to the city, you guys will be earning different kind of salaries, working at different industry. So price point and the area and the kind of apartments that you guys are looking for would be very different. So it's really beneficial to talk about that at the very, very beginning, even before getting to know each other. Basically, all the deal breakers. Another finance related thing is the utilities, because most of the utilities will be shared. You can't say like, oh, the AC in my room, you took more air out of it, you're gonna pay more this month. No, that's not how it works. Or maybe there might be some secondary utilities that you might not need, because some people in 2022 still use the cable. Yeah, I'm not paying for the shit.
Oh dear, that's not good. I feel the need to say the F word now.
Fuck that. Another thing that might add up is having a car or pets. So definitely discuss that and make sure that they are responsible for that and they understand that the extra cost will be on them and not on you. I usually prefer keeping my groceries separate from my roommates. But if you're living with friends or family or friends of friends, then it might be a case where you are sharing groceries. So make sure that you tell them that you're gonna split the groceries, because you don't want someone to eat your groceries. Now that you have your finances out, time to talk about lifestyle. People work all kind of jobs in the city. When I first met my roommate, they were working at night and I was working during the day, so we barely saw each other. Of course, it wasn't by design, but it worked out great for us since we got the apartment to ourselves almost all the time. And this meant that we could do our own thing, like inviting friends over, playing loud music, and having a party! But seriously, you need to discuss your eating schedule, your sleeping schedule, sexy time.
What time? Sexy time.
If you like to party, if you drink or smoke, but the most important thing, your bathroom schedule. When you like to poop in the morning. Dude, hurry up! You've been there for 30 minutes, hurry up! Yeah, I don't have any more updates today. Yeah, that's all. I need to go! Yeah, I'm in a new location today. Yeah, that's correct. Yeah. And once you have discussed all of that, you do need to decide your move-in date. I would start looking for a roommate at least 2 months before moving, since you'll be looking at apartments maybe a month before your move-in date. I met a few good friends of friends which were great potential roommates, but they were not graduating at the same time I was graduating, and I had to resort to living with I had to find strangers from the internet to live with. That brings me to the next point, how to find a rando to live with in New York City. So there are two kinds of roommates you can have. One, of course, friends and family, but the next, of course, finding random people on the internet. Yeah, very common and very safe. As an Indian, I am an expert in matchmaking. No, trust me on this, I'm serious.
Yes, I love matchmaking.
And also in New York, people are scared of rats and bugs, but they're perfectly fine living with strangers from the internet. So you don't have to worry at all. There are apps and websites to find roommates. Of course, there's app for this shit. I'll put the popular ones on the screen somewhere, but when I moved to the city, I really like using Roomy. When you first join, you can find hundreds of people with the profile. I really like that the roommates were verified. They had to give some kind of ID, so it gives some kind of assurance that they're not sketchy people. I mean, there might be, but like, who knows? I also liked using this newsletter called The Listing Project, and you will especially like it if you're creative. It's a newsletter by creatives for creatives, so do check it out. Up next, Facebook groups, the site that your uncle uses to spread conspiracy theories. In New York City, Facebook is actually really useful, not only to find abandoned furniture, but also to find lonely, friendless roommates. There are Facebook groups like Ghostlight Housing, which has thousands of people. To join, you have to answer a few questions. It's not like the most secure screening, but at least it's something. And there are numerous university Facebook groups, which will sometimes let you join even if you didn't pay thousands of dollars to attend their elite Ivy League college. It doesn't matter, you didn't get into the college, but at least you can get into the Facebook group. And it's free. Yeah, note that. These groups are really useful for newly grads. You can also search NYC Sublet on Facebook, and a couple dozen other groups will pop up as well. You can also find roommates on LinkedIn. Yes, the safe haven for tech bros. In the same sense, if you get into a big company and are relocating to New York, you can contact the HR. They probably have other people who are relocating to New York as well, and maybe they can connect you with them. You can also reach out to the alumni group of your college and ask them if they know someone in New York City. When I was first moving, my college helped me connect with people who were here, and I got to know the inner workings of the city and all the tips and tricks which I'm paying forward now. But yeah, living with your coworker, good luck with that. Last but not the least, Craigslist, my favorite sketchy website which emulates the back alley deals of New York City. Just be careful to not give out all your information and be very careful for scams. You write a bio for these sites and off you go. Yeah, you have to write a bio, but the only difficult part is that you have to be honest. No more lying about your height and photoshopping the hell out of your photos. It's for roommates, God's sake. They will be the only people who would see you naked probably. I mean, they're probably the only people who will give a fuck about you in the city if you're crying. So be nice to them and genuine. Come on. Time for bonus round. When you're writing your bio, definitely include your social media, and when you're looking at some potential roommate, look that they have their social media on as well. I mean, it's not the best screening again, but it definitely helps you get the sense of their personality and to see if they're real or not. Check their dates when they're posting their pictures. I mean, by this time, you should know how to look for bots. If you can't detect a bot, I mean, good luck moving to the city. Now, if you have a personal email which has your first and last name, I would create a new email with only your first name and some numbers or something else so that you don't give out all your information at once. Similarly, look at the email that you're receiving messages from to make sure that they are not from something sketchy. And I would say keep your finances separate at the beginning. If someone tells you to put down a deposit for the whole apartment, don't do that. Just be very careful. Well, that's it. But if you're someone who has a difficult time deciding what to get for dinner, oh boy, you're gonna have a great time finding a roommate. Damn, a couple is arguing outside and I just can't record right now.